In this video I will show you how I fixed an engine oil leak and replaced old and leaking intake manifold and EGR gaskets. The engine is GM LQ1, which is 3.4 liter double overhead camshaft V6 introduced in 1991 and powering GMW body models Chevrolet Lumina, Oldsmobile Cutlass, Pontiac Grand Prix and later also Chevrolet Monte Carlo. The engine should be sharing similar block with overhead valves 2.8 and 3.1 liter V6 engines of that era. So likely you may experience symptoms I will show you in this video also on these engines. Here is my Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. I bought it when it was already 30 years old car. The engine ran fairly, but not as smooth as I would expect from a V6. It had also engine oil leak issue. Every time I drove the car, I could find engine oil stains under the engine, as you can see here. It is 30 years old car and such symptoms can be expected at that age. But can I fix it with usual tools at home? I have searched for information on internet forums aimed at GM90s front-wheel drive cars, especially at LQ1 engine. Also my friend technician who looked at my car up on the lift told me that engine oil leak there is probably from faulty rear main crankshaft seal, because it looked like it was coming from between the engine and transmission. On internet forums I have found some different and very interesting information on common engine oil leak area of this engine. That area is oil pump drive. It is this weird shaft that comes from the engine block, and that was once on some older engine which used this block a distributor shaft. This engine no longer has mechanical distributor, and GM engineers just cut it and left just oil pump drive, which is inside the block. The upper part of it looks like a plug. As you can see here, there is an O-ring in the upper part of the shaft. However, this O-ring is the only sealing part there, and there is no gasket between the plug as it sits on the engine block. When the O-ring deteriorates as it gets old, you have engine oil leak from the shaft. Oil then leaks down the transmission. Oil pump drive is held by V-shaped clip and bolt, but there is no gasket between the upper cap of the drive and engine block. Problem here is that you cannot remove the oil pump drive from the engine block unless you remove rear cylinder head. So replacing the faulty O-ring is impossible without disassembling the rear cylinder head. You can pull the oil pump drive just a few millimeters as the cup hits the cylinder head, so if you cannot remove the cylinder head, all you can do is to try push some liquid sealant under the oil pump drive cup. For repair you will need two small EGR gaskets, 514 and 517. Then you will need also intake manifold gasket kit, which includes gasket 525, O-ring 539 and two gaskets 540. The part numbers here are mentioned genuine General Motors, so you can find easily replacements from the old vendor. I got this intake manifold gasket kit from Victor Reigns. The O-ring you can see pictured here, which is included in the kit, is not O-ring for the oil pump drive shaft, but this is O-ring for the lower intake manifold engine coolant passage. And here are EGR gaskets also from Victor Reigns. So let's start to work. First step, you need to remove your air filter, the air temperature sending unit, the hose, intake hose. Probably you will have original air filter, not this sports as I have, so it will be a bit more complicated, but first remove the air filter. Remove the engine decal. Remove PCV valve. Disconnect EGR electric connector. Unscrew EGR bolts. And remove EGR valve. And remove two nuts which are at the back of the upper intake manifold. Disconnect throttle cables. Disconnect and remove map sensor. Engine coolant is passing through the lower intake manifold, so before removing it you need to drain the engine coolant from the radiator and cooling system. I could drain about 5 liters of engine coolant. Remove this clip attaching fuel hoses and fuel rail to the upper intake manifold. disconnect the coolant hose from the intake manifold. I forgot to disconnect brake booster vacuum hose and throttle position sensor, so you have to disconnect these two. Now you can remove upper intake manifold completely. As you can see, my upper intake manifold gasket is badly damaged. Somebody who worked on the car in the past didn't install new gasket but tried to repair the old one with liquid sealant. The same for coolant passage O-ring. In next step, remove bolts and transmission vacuum pipe. First you have to disconnect the pipe from the transmission modulator. Remove fuel rail bolts. Disconnect electrical connectors from all 6 injectors. Remove fuel rail carefully from its position and put it aside. Remove thermostat and coolant hose from lower intake manifold. Put cloth on manifold holes to prevent dirt coming in and remove lower intake manifold bolts. Be careful, there are 2 hidden bolts on each side of intake manifold. When all bolts are removed, remove lower intake manifold. Gaskets are in really bad condition. This is how it ends up when someone reuses damaged old gaskets, adding liquid sealant. Gaskets like this, in this condition, cause air leaks, engine misfire, rough idle and other symptoms. And here is oil pump drive and a lot of oil around that leaked through bad O-ring, and there is also small amount of coolant that leaked out of lower intake manifold as I open it. It would be best to remove oil pump drive and replace the O-ring, but I can't do that because I would have to remove rear cylinder head first. Now it's time to clean engine intake ports and all removed parts. I have cleaned the area around oil pump drive and loosened its holder. For sealing of oil pump drive block, I have prepared high temp silicone sealant and slim hose for its application. My daughter helped me with application of silicone and pushing it under the oil pump drive block while turning the block with hand in full circle. Then I have applied more silicone all around the oil pump drive block. And this is how it looks now. This is best I can do without removing the drive out. Now I can say this repair stopped my engine oil leak completely. In my case, this repair worked. Engine oil leak stopped completely. Now also engine idle is stable. And engine response is noticeably better, as intake manifold gaskets of my engine were in terribly bad condition. I'm happy with the results and also happy that you watched my video till the end. Thank you for watching.